You're welcome to News Today here on Joy News on Multi TV. My name is Nia Krofi Smatabe. Coming up, over 3,900 fire cases recorded between January and September 2013 here in Ghana, with 65 deaths. In international news, Zimbabwe has urged rebels in Mozambique not to fight after an opposition group with military and political wings withdrew from a 1992 peace deal. Details of these and other stories coming up shortly. Do stay with us. In our first story, the Polytechnic Teachers Association of Ghana, POTAG, the Kumasi branch, has issued an end of October deadline to government to pay its members their arrears of the market premium following their migration onto the single spine salary structure. According to the association, although the last batch of the market premium arrears for the last quarter of 2012 was supposed to have been paid in September 2013, it has not reflected in their accounts. However, Labour consultant Austin Game says the group must report the conduct of the employer to the Labour Commission for the employer to be called to explain why it has failed to honor its part of the agreement.
The single spine policy itself is very good. There's nothing wrong. The policy itself and its frame is perfect, near perfection if you like. But they don't have policies that will carry it, such as the performance management system is not there, the human resource management system is not there. We don't even have the adequacy of the human resource and its skills that are supposed to be built. All regional coordinating directors, all district coordinating directors, all chief directors must be retrained and possess the skills to be able to resolve problems. Polytechnic teachers said they have negotiated a condition of service between the employer. They have some monies to be paid to them. It's a legitimate call they are making. But the law didn't say because you have negotiated and you have reached agreement, if the employer is unable to pay you, you should give him notification that you are going on strike. Go back to the National Labour Commission. Report the conduct of the employer. They will invite the employer together with you. You will sit down. That is where they facilitate, the Labour Commission itself can facilitate that effort between the two of them, in a way to find a solution. They can have a timetable, they can follow it. And these things happen not only in Ghana, it can happen anywhere.
Away from single spine related issues, now over 3,900 fire cases were recorded between January and September 2013 here in Ghana. According to the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ashanti region recorded the highest number of fire cases with 836, whilst the Volta region had the lowest of 87 cases. Prince Billy Anaglate is the Deputy PRO for the Ghana National Fire Service, and he joins me on the line to help us understand this particular situation. Good afternoon to you, Ms. Anaglate, and thanks for your time.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, now over 3,000 fire cases between the first and third quarter of this year. How did we arrive at that?
What I should say is that it's unfortunate that the fires keep, coming up, and we have these statistics alarming. We keep trying to say that 90% of all these fires could be prevented if, especially, the general public is able to cultivate the fire safety culture to complement the efforts of the Ghana National Fire Service in educating people. So I believe that all of us, for now, should know that since these fires, most of it are preventable. Let us try as much as possible to ensure that we are safety conscious and to reduce some of these fire outbreaks.
But you've been giving us this education for a very long time now. Why would the Ashanti region, for instance, record the highest number of cases, 836, within the first 3 quarters of the year? Is it that the education isn't going down well with the people, or they just choose to ignore it?
Well, the biggest problem when it comes to fire safety education is the public, failing to avail themselves for this fire safety education. You're surprised to know that many attempts to get to premises to educate people, they are not willing to take this safety education. That is important to protect their lives, to protect their investment, and even the environment. So I am only saying that all these fires that are coming are, just that attitudinal, change that we need to ensure that these fires are reduced. It is true that Ashanti region recorded 836 fire outbreaks, which is the highest in the statistics that we have. It has always been in our statistics that Ashanti region is always recording the highest.
Why is that the case? Why does the Ashanti region always record the highest number?
Well, I believe strongly that maybe probably because they have certain, areas, especially if you talk of magazines, if you talk of some of these markets in Ashanti region, you also talk of certain activities that go in there. I believe people in there are, they needed to be given adequate, fire safety education, and then to also enforce our LR 1754, which stipulated clearly that certain safety measures need to be put in place. Until this is done effectively, we will continue to have this level of fire outbreak.
And has the Volta region always recorded the lowest numbers as they did for this the first 3 quarters of this year?
Yes, exactly. If you look at the statistics, Volta region has been the lowest, statistics that we have in fire outbreak.
And why are they always consistently low? What are they probably doing that, for instance, the Ashanti region isn't doing? For which reason the Ashanti region keeps recording the highest numbers?
Well, I just mentioned that maybe probably because of the industrial nature of Ashanti region. Volta region will not be compared to Ashanti region when it comes to industry.
Exactly.
So that might also be part of the issue.
Okay, but also this year we saw quite a number of fires and quite a number of markets being up in flames. Do we now have a total number of markets that have been destroyed by fire this year?
Yes, I can tell you we have about 23 markets that have been gutted in fires as at the beginning of the year up to September that we are talking.
Across the country?
Come again, yes,
across the country,
Ghana, exactly, all over Ghana. About 25 markets actually have destroyed in this fire out.
And have you been able to finish your reports on these these markets that got burnt, the 23 of them?
Well, to be sincere with you, some are still under investigation, but there are some that we have concluded on, and we have talked about a few of those when we talk about the Medina market fire. That we were able to investigate to determine that it was a fire left in an oven. We talk about Malam Market, where faulty electrical gadgets was the cause of that fire. We talk about Bubushi, where unattended candle was the cause of those fires. And some of these, market fires that we are investigating are still ongoing. Until those ones are concluded, I think we will not be able to have much to say on.
And there was supposed to be fire personnel deployed to the various markets. Have we started that?
Yes, exactly. When these fires started, that was when the chief officer directed that fire personnel should be patrolling the markets to ensure that outbreaks of fires in the market are reduced. In reality, we should be having fire posts in the market that should be manned by fire personnel 24 hours. To ensure that activities in the market are monitored, and also to ensure in case of any fire outbreak, because of proximity, they will be there to reduce the impact of those fires on any structures that might be involved in it.
And have they started yielding results? Sorry. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, but the absence of these fire posts has given us to have a temporary measure. That is the patrolling of fire personnel in the market. That is what we are doing continuously, and to ensure that we get to the market in the morning, and at the close of the day, we also get there to ensure that people are assisted to turn off all those electrical gadgets and also to remove them. They have also involved other stakeholders like electricity company to remove those electrical wiring systems that are overheat and illegal electrical connections in the market. They have also been part of some of these causes of fires in the market. So that they also try to ensure that the security men in the market are also trained. That is exactly some of those measures that we are putting in place. and to ensure that activities in the market are monitored.
Okay. Finally, before I let you go, though, but briefly, fire hydrants are not that popular, at least in Accra. With the recent incidents we've had of fires engulfing markets, are there steps in place to get hydrants close or within the markets so that should an incident occur, for instance, it becomes easier for the fire officers to deal with the fire rather quickly?
Yeah, unfortunately, hydrants that are supposed to be part of the facilities that we wish to be in the market, most of these markets, because they have not been planned, they have not been designed to meet the safety standard, most of them lack hydrants in the market. That is why many times when there is fire outbreak in the market, we have to marshal and mobilize a lot of fire engines into those markets to fight it. Unfortunately, however, some of these hydrants in some of the markets have also been, failed. In terms of people building structures, they build structures on some of those hydrants, and that accessibility to those hydrants also becomes a problem. So we have been appealing to the people in the market that those facilities are there for us to protect their investment, and they should be the first people who should be thinking of protecting their life and investment, and to make sure that those facilities are made available to us. We also ask that the custodians of this market to also ensure that hydrants are available, and boreholes should also be synced in the market, so that in case water is not flowing through the hydrants, we will be able to access boreholes in terms of firefighting.
Okay, Prince Billy Anaglite, Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service. Many thanks for your time this afternoon on Newsday. Away from fire, the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana says the Food and Drugs Authority's recent labeling of an anti-malarial as fake is a diabolical ploy to throw dust into the eyes of the public. According to the PSGH, in 2009, the authority had said the same drugs were not fake. PSGH claims the FDA is only trying to divert attention from a recent call for investigations into reasons behind a row between the authority and some pharmaceutical importers. These claims were contained in a press statement signed by the PSGH's General Secretary Dennis Sena Awite, issued on Tuesday in reaction to an earlier statement from the FDA. In that statement, the FDA had alleged that PSGH accused the authority of destroying their businesses with their post-market surveillance. However, in the PSGH statement, the Pharmaceutical Society denied the allegations and described the FDA statements as unfortunate and inaccurate. Now towards the Ashanti region, where one person has been killed and another severely injured when an old building at Idum collapsed on them. The incident happened when the deceased and his colleague were in the process of cutting a steel beam inside the weak building. Here's a report by Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin.
Barely 3 months ago, the building, constructed in 1910, was gutted by fire, leaving the structure weak. Numerous calls to city authorities to pull down the bent-down building to avoid future uncertainty yielded no result. Sadly, on Tuesday morning, portions of the building collapsed on 2 persons scavenging for steel at the site. One person died instantly whilst the other was rescued by fire service personnel. It took the fire service personnel close to an hour to retrieve the body of 26-year-old Kojo Martin.
Now, family members of the 2 men who died in recent shootings in Bawku say they disagree with the police that they were as a result of personal scores between the deceased and the assailants. Apari's correspondent Albert Sori visited Bawku and now reports.
2 separate shooting incidents were recorded last Friday and Sunday in Bawku. The first of the incidents occurred at Sagabo, where a young man who was chatting with his girlfriend was shot dead. 2 others were injured. The second death was at Possum. The police delinked the deaths from the protracted ethnic dispute in the area, attributing it to personal scores between the assailants and their victims. The family of Yasmi Yakubu, who was killed at Sagabo on Friday, is however challenged the police claim, explaining relatives of the deceased wouldn't have been attacked as well.
We don't know the reason behind these shootings, and if they are personal scores, why should they continue without any police apprehension. We don't understand that. So we as a people, we begin to worry. And are we to take the law into our own hands to defend ourselves? Or what do we do?
Meanwhile, there appears to be business as usual in Boku with no extra security presence. In Sagabo, where the first incident happened, Joy News spoke to Kubura Karim, a witness. A visit by Joy News to the Boku hospital also revealed that Mubarak Haruna, one of the injured persons, was responding to treatment. He narrated his ordeal to Joy News through an interpreter.
That he was sitting in front of his house, and by the time he realized, he saw two people. They came with a gun, and then they shot at him without any attack. That he hasn't done anything. He was just in front of his house. And when they came and attacked, they shot him too.
You should tell us, did he see the face of the person?
That at that midnight, he wouldn't even be able to identify them.
The other injured man, Issa Adambila, has been referred to the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital in Kumasi for treatment. Youth of Sagabo said they were not happy with the frequent attacks on members of their area and called on the police to look at their attacks from a different perspective. Majid Bagura is a youth leader in Sagabo.
We are so tired of the series of meetings we normally have with the police, and we put across several suggestions to them, but to no avail. And we are therefore calling on the government as a matter of urgency to ensure that those who have committed this act will be brought to book. And this is nothing about girlfriend or any personal score to settle. It's actually a crime committed against Mampusis. Because how come that those who came and shot, they shot 3 people? If it's a personal score, why didn't they shoot only one person and go?
Albert Sori filed this report from Sagabo in the Upper East region.
Well, we're making efforts to get the Upper East Regional Minister Alhaji Limuna Mohammed Muniru to give us an update on the situation, as and when we're able to raise him on the phone, we'll get that update. Meanwhile, Ghana could see a spike in Borreliosa cases if population of the environment from Galamsey operations and mining communities is not contained. At an evaluation report on the Borreliosa program, officials of the Ghana Health Service explained that they are beginning to see a growing incidence in the disease in Galamsey communities and fear it could get worse. They are therefore asking government to act immediately to address the situation. Viewers are warned some of the pictures may be disturbing.
Borreliosa is a chronic disease which mostly affects about 56% of children below the age of 16 years in the middle and forest belts areas. The disease, which starts as a noodle, can easily lead to disabilities resulting in amputation and loss of vital organs like the eye when not treated early. Since 2005, availability and introduction of combined drugs and antibiotics for the treatment of Borreliosa, officials say, has helped a revolution in the management of the disease.
Prevalence of the disease, it is definitely going down. Compared from 2005 to 2012, there is some improvement. We've dropped from about 1,100 plus cases a year to now under 650 cases a year. There is much improvement in Ashanti region, in the eastern region and Greater Accra region. The central region appears to be climbing a little, and so that is basically the status now.
The evaluation report done on the National Borreliosa Control Program notes that misconceptions about what causes the disease, and the late reporting of cases at health centers for treatment are still formidable challenges in the control of the disease. They add that their worry about Galamsey operations stems from the growing incidence of Buruli ulcer in Galamsey communities.
An organism called Mycobacterium ulcerans is actually found in stagnant water area favorable to the growth of that organism. You see, when you are creating those type of ambient environment for the growth of the organism, in endemic areas where the disease is already found, then it is a threat. If you are not careful, within 5-10 years, then I mean you'll be reversing or almost all the gains that have been shocked.
Key recommendations include incorporating the CHIPS concept to scale up Buruli ulcer treatment and management, as well as including it in the National Health Insurance Scheme. It further states that the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection should also add it up to its priority issues, as the disease mostly affects children.
You're still watching News Today on Joy News on Multi TV. We have some more stories coming up. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Newsday. Now, Labour consultant Austin Game has described the single spine salary structure as a good policy. The Labour consultant, however, tells Joy News there was the need to retain a regional and chief directors to and retrain regional and chief directors to understand the policy to ensure its proper implementation.
The single spine policy itself is very good. There's nothing wrong. The policy itself and its frame is perfect, near perfection if you like. But they don't have policies that will carry it, such as the performance management system is not there, the human resource management system is not there. We don't even have the adequacy of the human resource and its skills that are supposed to be built. All regional coordinating directors, all district coordinating directors, all chief directors must be retrained and possess the skills to be able to resolve problems.
So that was a Labour consultant, Austin Game, speaking there. Now, Energy and Petroleum Minister Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa has directed the Electricity Company of Ghana to disconnect all ministries, departments and agencies, as well as government officials who owe power bills. These include ministries, ministers, deputies, mayors, municipal and district chief executives, presidential staffers, and heads of various government agencies and departments. Boa, who gave the directive in Tamale on Tuesday as part of a 3-day tour of the northern, upper east and upper west regions, said the move is to help reduce waste in the system and infuse some efficiency in the power sector. The Energy Minister's directive follows President John Mahama's directive to all his ministers and presidential staffers to replace their post-paid electricity meters with prepaid ones at their official residences, as well as pay their own power bills. Now, the insurance industry is asking government to expedite the processes needed for them to join the African Trade Insurance Agency to broaden their portfolio on risk insurance. The move, they say, will allow them provide insurance packages for businesses, including trade credit, political risk, terrorism and sabotage, which insurance companies in Ghana currently do not cover.
Government since 2009 has been working on Ghana becoming a member of the African Trade Insurance Agency, ATI, which is a multilateral agency created to provide insurance products that mitigate the trade and investment risks of companies doing business in Africa. Ghana stands to benefit from $100 million in added capacity from ATI, while the insurance industry will also gain the ability to insure surety bonds, trade credit and political risks such as terrorism, violence and sabotage.
If we join, Ghana will be a shareholder of the ATI. So we, the insurance companies here, can also have access to the ATI services. And of course, the money premium that they'll be collecting will be here. So we shall be conserving that. And of course, if they do well, the government will get in terms of dividend from what they do. So we think that this is a better approach, to do it than for us always to be relying on the overseas markets. And of course, if they are here, we, the local companies, will also build the capacity to know how do we assess that kind of risk. How do we price it? What are the terms and conditions that we impose? So it will help us to build our knowledge.
Although the process has stalled, the move has become imperative, especially at this time when terrorism is fast gaining roots in Africa. CEO of ATI tells Joy Business shop owners at the Westgate Mall in Kenya, which was recently attacked by terrorists, have already received a $100 million insurance package from the agency. He adds the country is also better off accessing packages through ATI as they are cheaper.
They're cheaper in terms of, each compared to what is charged in the international markets. But of course they range from 1% to 3% depending on the risk, because each country has a different risk rating. For us, in our own risk criteria, we see Ghana as a good risk, and obviously we might not share the same with the international market, because international markets must have had the experience with Ghana on one or two things. But for us, we feel that Ghana is a medium risk, and obviously we would be able to charge reasonable premium compared to what we would charge in the DRC, for instance.
For the private sector, joining the ATI will help address challenges in accessing credits by smaller businesses in the country.
With access to credit insurance and other risk mitigating products, credit insurance, underwriting, credit guarantees, for example, banks will be able to lend more to our SMEs. The reason why SMEs don't qualify or don't get the benefit of a lot of the financial intermediation is because of the risk inherent in them. And for any investor, you look to cover your risk. So are the banks always looking to cover their risks.
The ATI, meanwhile, says there is demand for their services as they have received enquiries valued at over $1 billion for transactions directed at the Ghanaian market.
Now, the first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Millicent Nah, has bemoaned the high number of non-professional bankers he says are giving the industry a bad name due to their misdeeds. Addressing the inauguration of the Bank of Ghana Association of Chartered Bankers in Accra, he said the unprofessionalism of some banking staff is fast eroding the reputation of the true professionals.
The banking profession is considered very prestigious, not only in Ghana, but in other parts of the world. Practitioners are thought to exude confidence in their outlook to make them attractive to their clients, who have to trust them with their hard-earned monies. The first Deputy Governor, however, says, contrary to the high regard given bankers, publication of disclaimers have become the order of the day.
There was some professional culture in banking, probably until recent times, where on daily basis we see and read disclaimers in the newspapers of bank employees who apparently might have misconducted themselves in one way or the other, and the various institutions trying to own them, if you like. So it is incumbent upon us to hold high the concept of trust and confidence, and not to abuse it. Otherwise, we'll not have what? The foundation of banking would be what? Dislodged.
Clifford Duke Metal, president of the Chartered Institute of Bankers, also lamented the decline in ethics and professionalism in the banking sector and is urging bankers to return to the basic principles in banking.
In the olden days, there's this phrase, "My word is my bond." And this is a simple phrase that has been associated with banking practitioners over the centuries. This evokes a very strong sense of commitment to the application of honesty, integrity, and professionalism. We think and we know strongly that this is one of the bane, and that's the problem why, as the chairman mentioned, you find disclaimers in the newspapers where people are always having issues with their employers, and therefore they have to be disowned, as he put it, and published in the newspapers. because some of them don't even understand the foundation of banking operations.
He added, very soon, no banker can head a branch until he or she obtains the Institute of Chartered Banking certificate. The theme for the inaugural ceremony of the Bank of Ghana Association of Chartered Bankers was ensuring financial stability, the role of the Ghanaian banker.
We take another break here. We'll be back with sports.
Straight away from the home grounds of Ghana, where there will be fixtures for this midweek. There will be 8 matches across 8 league centers and week 8 of the Ghana Premier League. Let's check out the fixtures coming up later today. Hearts of Oak are hosting Liberty Professionals in a local derby. Elibiasi United will seek some revival when they meet Hearts of Lions at the Bekwai Park. Asante Kotoko are hosting Bekum Chelsea at the Barbera Sports Stadium. Remember, Kotoko lost their last game against Bechem United away, and Bekum Chelsea are also struggling a bit this season. So let's see if Kotoko can wake up from their defeat last week, or Bekum Chelsea will be the ones who would find a win in this match. Inter Allies, they have a new coach in the person of Coach Herbert Addo, and he lost his first game that was played last Sunday. Can he bring some revival to Inter Allies, who are yet to win a game this season so far? They host Bechem United at the Tema Park. Mediama SCI in action against Amida's Professionals at the Takwa and Aboso Park. Dwarfs, they take on King Faisal, while All Stars are taking on Hazakes. Remember, Hazakes coach Kobna Emisa is also on leave. As to whether he will come back or not is a thing that we will need to discuss another day, because he's undergoing some issues with his health. So let's see how that goes. And then Aduana Stars would also host Ash Gold at the at Domar Park coming up this afternoon. So these are the fixtures that are coming up later on this afternoon in week 8 of the Ghana Premier League. Away from that, let's talk Black Stars now. And Egyptian authorities have agreed to allow the maximum number of 30,000 supporters to attend next month's World Cup qualifying playoff against Ghana. Now, this is coming from the spokesperson of the Egyptian Football Association, Egypt. They will host Ghana in the second leg of the qualifying final phase, with the Black Stars in pole position to go through following a 6-1 thumping in Kumasi. Now, FA spokesperson of Egypt, Azmi Megahead, told philgoal.com the Ministry of Defense informed them with their approval to allow in 30,000 supporters at the Air Defense Stadium. The announcement comes despite protests from the Ghana FA against staging the match in Cairo with the presence of home fans for security. Egypt played one game in the presence of their supporters during the last 2 years, a 2-1 home victory over Zimbabwe at Alexandria's Army Stadium back in March. Right, let's go to Europe now, where last night AC Milan and Barcelona recorded a 1-1 draw. Marseille, they lost at home. Very, very shocking. Arsenal also stayed at home and lost 2-1 to Borussia Dortmund. Another result that didn't go down well with the birthday man, Arsene Wenger. Now let's take a look at some of the matches, or highlights of some of the matches that were played in the UEFA Champions League last night.
Since the start of the season in all competitions, the Gunners have won 11 of their 13 games. While Arsene Wenger celebrated his 64th birthday on the side of the field, Jurgen Klopp, the Dortmund coach, was relegated to the bleachers, serving out a 2-match ban. The visitors would be the first to strike, though, as Aaron Ramsey was dispossessed outside the penalty area, which allowed new summer signing Enric Mkhitaryan to give Dortmund the lead. The Gunners had very little opportunities on the Dortmund goal, but their response eventually came just before half-time through Olivier Giroud with his second goal in 3 games. In the second half, the Gunners enjoyed much of the possession, but still had very few chances on goal. That was until Wenger brought in Santi Cazorla in place of Jack Wilshere. The fresh legs of Cazorla injected new life into the game and so nearly put Arsenal ahead, but the woodwork denied the Spaniard. Against the run of play, the visitors took the lead again, and it was Robert Lewandowski who popped up for his 10th goal in 15 games. The Gunners could not deliver the perfect birthday present for their manager Arsene Wenger. Instead, their dream run of form was ended with a 2-1 defeat at home.
With their latest memories at the ground, that of a 2-0 defeat in last season's round of 16 first leg. Even though the hosts played without a dedicated central striker after Mario Balotelli was relegated to the bench following a late fitness test, they still created early chances while Barcelona found it difficult to penetrate. In the 7th minute, Montari was half a yard offside after a disguised pass from Robinho. The Brazilian, with a well-worked 1-2 with Kaká, scored the first goal of the match after defensive errors from Javier Mascherano and Gerard Piqué minutes later.
Robinho to Kaká, back to Robinho! A fully deserved lead for AC Milan. The old Real Madrid enemy comes back to haunt Barcelona.
AC Milan seemed content to let Barcelona dominate 60% of the possession in the next 14 minutes. But when Milan lost possession in the midfield, Andres Iniesta burst forward to find an unmarked Lionel Messi with ample space in the box, ready to score his 4th Champions League goal of the season.
Messi steadies himself, and you know what comes next. You cannot give Messi an inch in the penalty area, or he will punish you.
Messi has now scored 63 goals in 81 games. Both teams had chances to increase their goal tallies. Mex's header off a Robinho corner was just wide of the post in the 28th minute. Just before half-time, though, a Messi cross was headed away, but when the ball fell to Neymar, his strike was inches wide from the far post. Ghana midfielder Suleiman Tari created one of the best scoring chances of the second half, breaking away on the left, but Robinho wasted the opportunity. Barcelona, who came into this match on the back of a goalless draw in La Liga, had 16 shots at goal during the match, and Marco Emilio was tested by both Iniesta and Xavi, but neither team found the winner as the match ended 1-1. Both teams remain unbeaten, though, in their group. The two face each other again on match week 4 on the 6th of November. When they hosted Ajax. The Hoops were yet to score their first goal, never mind claim their first win. Their 22-year-old striker James Forrest, who has been dealing with meningitis fears over the last few weeks, created some chances but found the back of the net after Denswell's foul on Stokes. Ajax enjoyed 59% possession in the first half but had just 3 chances. Their South African midfielder Thulani Serero, though, caused the home side's defence some headaches during the second half. His saved effort was soon followed by a long-range effort deflected in a minute later.
Kyle! Diverted in! 2-0 to Celtic!
Celtic's Noah Burton was showed a straight red card after sliding in late on Thulani Serero. Celtic down to 10 men for the remaining few minutes, allowing Ajax to score 1 goal out of their 16 attempts.
United and Real Madrid will be doing tonight as we catch a glimpse of the preview for the matches upcoming tonight in the UEFA Champions League.
Losing 5 of their last 7 games, CSKA Moscow is aiming for a reversal in fortunes ahead of their Champions League Group D game against Manchester City. One of the hurdles they have faced is the Khimki Arena pitch that has suffered due to wet weather this season. A game has not been played at the venue since September 21st.
Had a series of problems. But as years passed, I got used to the situation, and we have an important game against Manchester City, and we will do our best to get the best possible result. The quality of the pitch is equal to the quality of our latest results.
The home side has a long injury list to contend with. Defender Mario Fernandes and midfielders Alan Dargoev, Rasmus Alms and Alexander Sonia are all out. CSKA have won only 3 of their last 12 Champions League games.
Real Madrid breezed past their opening 2 Group B Champions League games, defeating Galatasaray 6-1 before easing past FC Copenhagen 3-0. Their biggest test comes on Wednesday as they take on Italian giants Juventus. Bianconeri have stuttered in their campaign so far, with just 2 draws to show for their efforts against the same opponents. And to add to their woes, they surrendered a 2-0 lead to Fiorentina in Serie A last weekend, in the end losing 4-2. A lot of focus centres around Welshman Gareth Bale ahead of the encounter, who is set to return to action following his recovery from a thigh injury. Bale has only made one start since his world record €100 million move from Tottenham, and he is expected to have a significant role to play not only in the European competition, but in Saturday's El Clasico against Barcelona at the Nou Camp on Saturday. Bale came on for 14 minutes in their 2-0 victory over Malaga, winning a penalty in stoppage time which Cristiano Ronaldo converted. The Portuguese forward is excited to play alongside him regularly this season.
If you speak with him, you can see that he making pressure, do pressure to another players, leave him alone, because I'm sure 100% that he's going to do well for the club. He's going to help us a lot because he's a fantastic player, he's a fantastic boy, and he always want to learn, and this is the most important.
CSKA Moscow, they play Manchester City in Russia. We have other matches. Manchester United up against Real Sociedad. Real Madrid, they host Juventus. Bayern Munich, they are hosting Plzen. We have Bayer Leverkusen up against Shakhtar Donetsk. Benfica up against Olympiacos. Anderlecht, they take on Paris Saint-Germain. Galatasaray hosts Copenhagen. And then those are the matches that are upcoming tonight in the UEFA Champions League. And on that note, I'll draw the curtain on this afternoon's edition of Sports on News Today. It is proudly sponsored by Tigo. Smile, you've got Tigo. My name is Rashida Baba Kadri. The news is not done yet. Smart is standing by.
Before we do some international news, over 1,000 persons have qualified as newly trained Multi-TV Digibox installers. The distribution coordinator at Multi-TV, William Addison, tells Joy News the turnout has been very encouraging.
Sleep in the non-technical session that you are right now talking on, but right now, thank you very much.
The main objective is to make sure that we have a lot of installers because the product is all over everywhere, and we are training installers to know how to fix our dish, track signal, and make sure that they are able to program the multi-TV decoder.
What's in
the product itself is a mass product, which means that everywhere that you go, we have people who are watching us, and it's becoming difficult. People are keeping on complaining that they want to get the decoder, but their place is far. So we are training more people to be able to reach out to the market because the demand is great. And I think that the growth has been very, very successful. The patronage, the response, the cooperation. We have about 15 ladies joining to learn how to install the decoder, and it has been great.
The participants at the training are also optimistic of the benefits ahead.
At my workplace, people come and they ask me, do you deal in multi-TV digiboxes? And I say no. So they've been calling. So I decided to partake in this training so that I can help those who call on me so that I can provide services to them.
I think it's worth the money you pay to get into it.
Sure.
No, fixing these multi-TV boxes, sometimes you have to climb people's buildings and all. Doesn't that scare you? How does that also make you feel?
Oh, I really psyched myself before coming, so I can do anything. I just feel that even if it's on top of a story, I can do it. Ladies like me should be encouraged to take part in things like such, because I'm a nursing mother in Akim. So if you are not a nursing mother, you can do much better in it.
Okay, now let's go across the world now in international news. First off, in Africa, Zimbabwe has urged rebels in Mozambique not to fight after an opposition group with military and political wings withdrew from a 1992 peace deal. Zimbabwe's Deputy Foreign Minister Christopher Mtvangwa says he would not countenance a return to civil war in Mozambique. The Renamo movement, thought to have about 1,000 fighters as well as 51 MPs, ended the peace accord on Monday. Mozambique's 1976 to 1992 civil war led to about 1 million deaths. A suspected Libyan militant leader seized earlier this month in a U.S. raid in Tripoli has appeared for a second time in a federal court in New York. Abu Anas al-Libi was represented by a lawyer paid for by the Libyan government. Libi is accused of having links with al-Qaeda and of involvement with the bombings of 2 U.S. embassies in 1998. He has pleaded not guilty to terrorism charges. Libi, 49, whose real name is Nazi Abdulhamed al-Rukai, appeared in court to discuss his legal counsel. At his previous hearing, Libi was represented by court-appointed public defenders, having said he could not afford an attorney of his own. Human Rights Watch counterterrorism researcher Letta Taylor says in some cases these targeted killings violated international law. But at this point, we'll be back with some showbiz stories. Welcome back. Now, a lot of Nollywood actors are making Ghana their second home, and of course that is no new phenomenon. But the latest showbiz team spotted in Ghana was Hans Chuku, one of Nollywood's bad boys. He was in town, and the showbiz team caught up with him, and he expressed his love and respect for the Ghanaian movie industry.
Yeah, Ghanaian movies are good. I love Ghanaian movies. Got lots of humor. Makes me laugh a lot. It takes away all the stress. Most times it's praying, actually. I love praying a lot, you know. That's the only way I feel comfortable and confident that I'm under the shadow of the Almighty, where nothing can harm me. To everyone from the presidency to the ministers to the grassroots to market women to the children and the orphanages, I just love you guys for being alive for God and also being partakers in his good message of peace, and that's what really matters.
Well, it's good to know that Hans loves our industry and we love him back. I never knew his locks had grown that long, but away from Hans Chuku, the second edition of the Big in Ghana, a music talent hunt show that gives upcoming artists an exciting opportunity to perform live on stage alongside renowned artists has been launched. Winner of last year's edition, Bright, whose first professional video for his song Nadia Number was also released at the launch, said Ghana should watch out for a storm in the music industry.
According to the organizers, the stakes for this year has been doubled, and there are interesting prize packages for music fans. We caught up with Bright, winner of the maiden edition, who says he has more up his sleeves for his fans. He also told us what inspired his lyrics for his song Nadia Number.
Nadia Number, you know, when you listen to the rap, you know, I try to be very witty, you know, I just say things that are funny and then things that I see around. So when you listen to the rap, it's like Bright here, Haiti or downtown south. I did kill all MC sounds down. You know, I said so much about myself, okay? And I just wanted something that would be like funny and catchy. And then, you know, the black girls would be like, why does he say he wants Nadia's number? And then the name Nadia, you know, it rings a bell in Ghana. So I just thought of it and I was like, okay, Mama Nadia number. Something just funny, yeah. So yeah, that was the whole idea about Mama Nadia number.
FOKN boys, who happen to be the organizers, disclosed how they will come by the eventual winner.
The talent hunt. Last year Bright won. This year we're hoping someone brighter will win.
Because what we are looking for in Big in Ghana is someone who can shine on any stage that is given them on any planet.
Meanwhile, the winner of the 2013 edition walks away with a professional album recording, a video clip, and cash.
Too good for you like it. Mama me Nadia number. Oh, me Nadia number. Mama me Nadia number. My baby man to Nadia number. Mama me Nadia.
So if you think you are brighter than Bright, who won the maiden edition of the Big in Ghana concert, One Love the Kopolo is looking out for you. But that's it for the bulletin. But before we go, let's take a look at our top stories. Over 3,900 fire cases have been recorded here in Ghana between January and September 2013, with 65 deaths. And in international news, Zimbabwe has urged rebels in Mozambique not to fight after an opposition group with military and political wings withdrew from a 1992 peace deal. My name is Nia Krofi Smartabe. Many thanks for your time with us here on News Today. Do have a great day.